Hi guys, welcome to episode 3 in my weekly top 10 series. And on this episode, I'm going to be looking at my top 10 all-time Premier League players. For the first 2 episodes, I took a look at my top 10 Arsenal bogey players. Those are the players that I feared most every time they came up against Arsenal. And on the second episode, I took a look at my top 10 all-time Premier League Arsenal players. And on this episode, of course, as I've said, all-time Premier League players in general. Of course, the Premier League started in 1992 and it's been running for almost 30 years, and there have been very many magnificent players, and not all of them could make this list. Unfortunately, I wish I could have been doing a top 100, and I'm going to mention those players that couldn't really make the list but actually would deserve maybe a top 20 list or something like that. And one of them is Scholes. His passing range was magnificent, and he scored some really good volleys. The goals he scored, serving Manu for all those years, could have been on the list but didn't quite make it. And two people who didn't quite make it, surprisingly, were Vieira and Roy Keane. I just couldn't separate the both of them, so I couldn't have one in the top 10 and not the other. And that's why they couldn't make it, and I couldn't really fit both of them in the list. And I couldn't even really decide if even I fitted them on the list. I couldn't decide who would be 7th and 6th or 4th or 5th. So those two, in terms of leadership and fight, you cannot compare anyone to the both of them. The fight, the leadership, the way they won the titles, the way they served their teams, how they are crucial in the title winning. Roy Keane in 1999. That treble winning season, all the other campaigns, Vieira in the Invincible season, the 202 and the 98 doubles. Players and their teammates actually said they actually feared these two. And these two actually said they feared each other, and every time they were coming up against each other, they will do something different, even eat something different. Or that just shows you how good both of them were. And unfortunately, I do not actually believe I couldn't fit them in my top 10. Another one is Didier Drogba. His power, his finishing, his headers, goals versus Arsenal. Canton and Letitia, both very skillful players, but I couldn't really fit them in my top 10. Ashley Cole, probably or arguably the best fullback ever. You can mention Dennis Irwin at Man U. Aguero, a very good goal scorer, coming from Argentina, coming from Spain, and really adapted to the Premier League immediately, scoring a double on his first day. And I feel like he would have, if he would play like he would have played a lot of games under Guardiola and stayed in England for at least 2-3 more years, he would actually get to Alan Shearer's gold record, or maybe at least get second and pass Rooney. But unfortunately couldn't make my list too. Harry Kane is another one, 130 plus goals already, very young age. This one I bet he can actually get to Alan Shearer's record. Defoe also gets a mention, one of the few players who have scored 5 goals in a game. Aguero has also done that. I think Alan Shearer has also done that. I think Andy Cole also did that. Defoe also has 24 goals as a substitute, the most ever for a substitute. He also deserves a mention, a very good finisher, and very many other players. Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler, Robert Pires, very good player. And there's a lot of players I could mention. Anelka, Teddy Sheringham, even Solskjaer, Rio Ferdinand. So many players. But unfortunately, they couldn't make my list. And without further ado, let me get into my top 10. Number 10 goes to Peter Schmeichel. For me, the best ever goalkeeper in the Premier League and probably in the world. If you mention the top 3, top 5 in the world, he'd probably make it. He's the only goalkeeper to win the Premier League Player of the Year, and he actually scored goals. There's a very good volley scored for Aston Villa, I think, and he actually has, I think, 20 plus goals from what I had. Not all of them in the Premier League, but not all of them, of course, from corners and stuff. Of course, he had some free kicks and penalties, but that is a really crazy record for a goalkeeper. And of course, his son plays right now, Kasper Schmeichel, and he's taken his everything from his dad, like all the leadership and all the saves and all that. He's actually followed in his dad's footsteps, and that just shows you how good he was in the Premier League. So it definitely makes my top 10. Van der Sar and Seaman actually didn't make it, but I think they're also good goalkeepers. Now to the next one, number 9, Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard was a Mr. Liverpool. Unfortunate not to win the Premier League, so close in 2009 and 2014. would probably have been higher if he managed to win the title, but he was crucial in FA Cups and Champions League winners' medals. Captain fantastic, one of the best ever captains in Premier League history. Very good player, scored some fantastic goals. He was probably the best player outside the box in terms of scoring goals. One of the other players is on this list too. As I've mentioned, Scholes didn't make this list. People like John Anarisa, very good from outside the box. Two guy at Blackburn, but Gerrard definitely makes the top 10. My best ever Liverpool player, of course, you can mention Michael Owen, Fowler, Ian Rush before the Premier League, John Barnes, but Gerrard makes the top 10 for sure. Number 8 goes to Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard was a goal scorer. I don't think anyone would ever get to it or will ever get to his goal scoring record from midfield. If Yaya Toure was in the Premier League for more years, I think you'd have tried and got to his goal scoring record, but Lampard was crazy. 177 goals from midfield. He scored maybe 30, 40 penalties, but he got himself into the correct position, scored goals, keeper in the Jose Mourinho winning teams in 2005 and 2006, and even in 2010 for Ancelotti. Scored 20 goals consistently, which is crazy for midfielders. I've only seen Yaya Toure doing that. I don't even think any midfielder gets to those kind of numbers. These days the formations have changed, obviously. That's why you see the likes of Salah and Mane getting those goals, and they don't actually play as strikers, but Lampard is a definite legend, and that's why Chelsea fans adore him even as a manager right now. So Lampard makes number 8. Number 7 is his teammate for many years, John Terry. John Terry was a captain, a leader. He did not have pace or all that, but everything he didn't have, he made it up by getting himself into the correct positions defensively, correct positions to make tackles, to make clearances. And as I've said, leadership is one of the things that I liked John Terry for. Of course, he got himself into a lot of drama with Wayne Bridge, with Luis Suarez, even the penalty missed in 2008, but I don't think that changes anything in terms of leadership. And he scored a lot of goals. I think every time an opposition team, or they got a corner against an opposition team, the opposition goalkeeper and defenders would be scared, because Terry was clinical and lethal in the air from corners and free kicks. I think he scored 60, 70 goals for Chelsea, which is unheard of from defenders. Someone like Ramos would get that right now because he takes penalties and free kicks, but it's unheard of. So John Terry definitely makes my top 10, and he gets the number 7 spot. Number 6 is Dennis Bergkamp. Skillful, genius. If you ask Henry and Ian Wright, they'll tell you that's the best ever player they played with. And that just shows you. People like Ian Wright and Henry played with magnificent players. Henry played with Messi. He played with Ronaldinho, I think. He played with Eto'o. Ian Wright played with some good players, even in England. The Owens, the Huskies, and all those players. But even Beckham. But Bergkamp was magnificent. And for me, he has the best ever Premier League goal. That was against Newcastle. I think it was in 2002, our double winning season, where he just put the ball on the other side of the defender and used this other side to score. I mean, crazy. Now, Bergkamp definitely makes my top 10 and is number 6 on this list. To the top 5 now. Just before I get into my top 5, thanks for supporting. Thanks for watching the video until now. If you're enjoying the content, leave a like on this video. And if you're new here, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. I have this top 10 series every single Friday. So hit the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a new video. Now to the top 5. Number 5 goes to Cristiano Ronaldo. Would probably have been in the top 2 if he stayed in England for longer. But what he has gone on to do after that, after leaving Man U, is incredible. He scores goals in Spain, he scores goals in Italy, not 10 goals, 15 goals, 30, 40 consistently every single season. Penalties, free kicks, headers, probably one of the best of headers of the ball right now. The way he jumps, the way he keeps himself fit, magnificent player. In the Premier League, he probably, I think, as I said, probably would have been in the top 2 if he stayed for longer. He's one of 4 players to win the Golden Boot alongside the Golden Shoe. The Golden Shoe is the award that is presented each season to the leading goal scorer in league matches from the top divisions of every single European National League. Cristiano Ronaldo, broken records. And I think it was 2007, 2008 where he had an incredible season. Manu won 3 seasons in a row before he left the Premier League, 3 seasons in a row. I think is also one of the reasons Manu won the 2008 Champions League. And teams actually win titles, but Ronaldo actually makes teams win titles, even at Real Madrid, even at Juventus. So Ronaldo definitely makes my top 10. Number 4 goes to Ryan Giggs, 672 league appearances, 109 goals, 162 assists, records after records after records. He scored in 21 consecutive seasons before his last season where he only played 12 games and didn't score. He has the record for the most substitutes. He's been substituted off most times, 134 times. Of course, that record for goals was under threat in 1994-95, where he scored only 1 goal in 29 games. But what he did for the Premier League was magnificent. Being consistent and being in one team for all those years, I don't think anyone else will play in the Premier League for 22 years and win 13 Premier League titles. No one. So legend, makes my top 4. Number 3 goes to Alan Shearer. Of course, he scored those 260 Premier League goals. The first 3 seasons were 24 teams, so there are more games, but I don't think that matters. Playing for Blackburn and Newcastle, didn't play for Man U or Chelsea or Arsenal. He played for Blackburn and Newcastle. Of course, they had better teams and he won the Premier League with Blackburn, but playing for those teams and scoring 260 goals, winning the Golden Boot 3 seasons in a row, 95, 96, 97, and just being the top scorer all those years. No one will ever catch up to him anytime soon. I know I've said Kane could get to that record, but that could be in the next 6-7 years and not right now. All those magnificent strikers that are in the Premier League, no one could get to Alan Shearer's record, so definitely makes my top 3. Number 2 goes to Wayne Rooney. Every time he faced Arsenal, I was super scared because he had the fight. I remember there's a time he was so hard-headed. The media actually told Ferguson to talk to him, but Ferguson said no. If I take the fight away from Rooney, he'll be a totally different player. He's one of only 2 players to score more than 200 goals, Alan Shearer being the others. And if you make a top 20 compilation of the best Premier League goals, Rooney would probably have like 3 or 4 goals on that list. The overhead kick against Manchester City, the 2 goals from the middle of the pitch against West Ham for both Everton and Man U. Just a very, very good player, one of the best ever strikers. And even later in his career, he switched up to playing midfield, scoring at 16 years of age for Everton. Brilliant player. Number 1, but the surprising thing before getting to the number 1 is Rooney never actually won the Golden Boot. He was unlucky in 2010. Drogba beat him by, I think, 2 goals. Should have won it that year. Number 1 goes to Thierry Henry, of course. On my list for the top 10 Arsenal players, he was number 1. And on this list is definitely number 1. Won the Golden Boot 4 times in our 2002 winning season, 2004 winning season, I think 2005, 2006 final season at the Emirates Stadium. Brilliant striker, magnificent goals. Probably the main reason after Vieira. Vieira was number 2, but Henry was number 1 of the main important players that made us win that 2004 unbeaten. He took some of those games by the scruff of the neck and made us win those games by himself. Like Liverpool away at home to Liverpool, we had conceded 2 goals. We were trailing 2-1, and he came in the second half and scored a hat-trick. The solo goal against Tottenham, just brilliant. Henry, definitely my number 1. Let me know which players would have included in this list. Remember, every Friday put out a new list. If you want to see a top 10 from me, let me know in the comment section which top 10 you'd want to see. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you engage. Take care and God bless.